As a woman who's entered her 30s, I can now confirm that there is no wall. Like, if you were attractive in your 20s, you're not magically going to become unattractive or ugly just because you turned 30.
When do you think you're going to hit your wall realistically?
Oh, like I literally have glowed up every single year. Like every month I get hotter, so I don't believe in a wall. I think that's
Okay, so as a woman, one thing that I'm very sick and tired of seeing is all of these women giving bad advice, especially to the younger women. Because you know what it is? Misery loves company.
Reality comes for us all. But for a time, women can afford to ignore reality. But when reality finally hits, those walls, those illusions come crashing down. If you were once a top athlete, won multiple titles, the greatest of all time, this will come to an end. And new athletes, younger, fitter, stronger, will inevitably take your place.
We want trips, vacations. We want houses in the suburbs, real jewelry that you have to go to the jewelry store to get. Not, we want real stuff that like they can't afford. So they can only impress women that are younger than them that want less. So they made it up in their mind that women lose value after a certain age because they can't impress them anymore. That's why women of a certain age start to date older men, because to those older men, those women are still young, and those older men can afford the needs and wants of those women in their 30s. Okay? It's about money. It's always about money. Okay?
There was a passenger aircraft in the late 70s, 80s, and into the early 2000s. It was so fast that you could travel from Europe to America and back on the same day. It was called the Concorde, and they had to scrap it because it was so expensive. The passenger airlines couldn't afford it. And this is the same thing with women today in their 30s.
Because as soon as a man walks up to you and tries to talk to you, and you're a certain age, and you reject them because they're too poor or broke, or you're not impressed, then that's when they start to say that women lose value after 30. Those men have lost their value because they haven't matured enough financially to impress a woman in her 30s. So therefore, a woman in her 30s are not valuable to men because they don't bring them validation. They're not impressed by them at all. They're just like, okay, well, impress me. Oh, you can't? And those women are looking at other men anyway who have more. So of course, they're not going to seem valuable to a man that can't afford them.
One of the biggest mistakes modern women have made in our time is to believe that they deserve to be with the best that the country has to offer when it comes to men.
If the woman keeps her appearance up, how she looks, she only gains value.
Something happens to women in the 36, 37, 38 bracket where they start to look in the mirror and panic if they're single, because that's the first time that you realize that you're not 25 anymore, right? And I'm being honest with you. Things start to change. Now, if you're married, if you have your kid, if you've got your man, if you've got your boyfriend, if you maybe for some that are getting a boatload of attention, I was in television, it was a different world. Maybe you don't feel it as much because you still feel like you have a ton of options, but there is something that happens when the panic sets in.
Don't mind the rope, Nighty. I actually have something I want to say. I don't know when it started, but I realized I started to do this thing where I don't let myself actually feel the things that I feel. I don't let myself admit that it does overwhelm me that I'm 35 and single. I don't let myself feel the full weight of the times that I've been hurt in my life because I don't like to give those people any sort of power over me.
That's it right there. She says she's single, she's in her 30s, she's looking for a partner, she's not bad looking. If you're a guy and you're interested in this woman and she said what she said right now, you'd be out the door and you wouldn't look back.
I don't even like to say it to myself, let alone publicly, but then I kind of forget a really important piece of the puzzle. Vulnerability and sharing these feelings is where real progress is made. As much as I want to fight it and act like it doesn't get to me, that I'm 35 and I'm single and I don't have any prospects right now, isn't gonna change what I really feel. It's hard. It's really hard to sit and admit that I have been hurt. It's hard to sit and admit that I have taken risk on love and it hasn't worked out. It's hard to admit to myself that it's impacted the way that I view dating. But one thing I do know that I really like about myself is the fact that I'm never gonna give up trying. I'm never gonna give up on myself. And even though, yes, I am 35 and single, I'm also 35 with a clean slate. 35 and no longer in a toxic, abusive relationship. 35 and completely supporting myself. And even though it can be so overwhelming and sometimes embarrassing to not be where I thought I was gonna be, at least I'm not where I was.
Okay, so as a woman, one thing that I'm very sick and tired of seeing is all of these women giving bad advice, especially to the younger women. Because you know what it is? Misery loves company. I see all of these women in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are giving terrible advice to women in their 20s and even younger than that. So coming from a woman, I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to tell you what hitting the wall means. So men value different things than women do. They value beauty, youth, and they value someone that respects themselves. When you start aging, your biological clock is ticking, and that is just a real fact. Going into your 30s, your options are going to be less than when you were in your 20s. And those guys around your age are now looking at the younger women, and you're going to be competing now with the 20-year-olds for the guys that you want. And then now when you're ready to start settling down and possibly start thinking about having kids, those same guys might feel like you're rushing them and they might not want the same things at this point. So then the dating market starts getting stressful, and then now these women are rushing for time because now their biological clock is really ticking and they want to go through the stages. And then a lot of them end up single, a lot of them end up childless because they chose to have fun in their 20s instead of looking for a relationship. And they thought that when the time came that they did want to settle down, that they would still have all the options that they had when they were 20. But then reality hits, and a lot of them end up childless and single and not by choice. So don't listen to all of these women that are saying that they're so happy and they're so content with not having children and they didn't want to get married, because the reality is that a lot of them did, most of them did. And by that point, they just didn't have a choice anymore. And so they had to accept that now they are childless and single. So of course they're going to make the best out of it. But what I don't like is that they're preaching to the younger generation that this is the way to go. Because if they could have chosen otherwise...
When do you think you're going to hit your wall realistically?
Oh, like I literally have glowed up every single year. Like every month I get hotter, so I don't believe in a wall. I think that's probably like 55.
What do you mean wall?
It's all
Explain to me
mentality.
what you
Like
mean wall.
unfortunately, like when you're hot, you get so much more power. It sucks, but it's the truth.
Wall as in fertility window dies down, your looks fade, stuff like that.
Okay, I feel like 37, almost 40. I feel like the stigma is like 30. It's like when girls are supposed to be like, like you have to
as a
settle
woman,
down.
like I don't base my worth on my fertility, so I think that probably like 60, even 70.
One could argue that a woman's most prized possession is her ability to reproduce, though.
Because I have a successful job in the business intelligence industry and I make my own money, and my happiness doesn't stem from having children.
All right, thoughts I have being a single 30-something-year-old living in New York City. I think the thought of not finding your person and falling in love is really scary. But you know what I think is even worse is falling in love, finding your person, and having it be the wrong time and wrong place and it not working out.
Here's the problem with so many women who are out here looking for the nice guy now. They want the nice guy because you've had all the guys that you could possibly imagine and you've been ran through. Basically, that's what it is. Let's be real. It's called spade a spade. So you've been out there experiencing life, living it up, sleeping with all the guys that you want. Now, nobody wants you. Nobody wants to settle down with you. So now you want to find a nice guy and pretend to be something that you're not so that you can settle down. Because now you're thinking about being a wife. And a lot of times, let's face it, the nice guy is not going to have a limit on how many bodies you got. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to tell him the truth anyway, if the discussion even comes up, right? And you think he's just going to be listening to the story, right? But here's the thing, with a lot of so-called nice guys, women, you got to understand this. While you were out living your life, living it up, dating whoever you want, sleeping with as many guys as you want, having a little hoe vacations, he was also living his life. And he was learning not to listen to the story. But all this nice guy stuff is just a fantasy. And a lot of women have had the right guy. You've had the right guy, but the right guy is going to place boundaries on you. So therefore, you feel, especially most of us melanated women, we don't want to be controlled. You're being controlling. You're trying to tell me how to dress, how to walk, how to talk. The right guy will put parameters on you and your behaviors and where you go, because he wants to protect you and because he cares. And the right guy is not going to be with all the fake eyelashes and the nails and the fake this and the fake that and the little short shorts and the little tiny dresses when you go out and the nasty attitude and the, oh, I don't cook. He's not going to be with
It's crazy how people will try to scare women and they'll be like, yeah, well, once you're in your 30s, men won't find you attractive anymore. Promise? Promise? Like, oh yeah, once you hit the wall, men won't approach you. Swear? Oh my gosh. I wish that was true.
I am having like all the feels right now. I mean, my birthday's in about a week, so I've got all of that coming up, and reading through these comments is really intense, and I can relate to them so much. This is my story right here. I spent my 30s in a relationship with a man that I was very much in love with and expected to marry and have a kid with. And when I was 38, he left me for a 20-year-old. And it was so funny because at the time, I was amazingly optimistic. I really believed that, I was going to go out. I got a new job. I somehow managed to turn my life around after all of that. And I was absolutely convinced that my horrific experience in romantic relationships was like statistically likely to take a turn for the better, and that I was going to meet someone and I was going to be able to have a baby right under the wire. But that did not happen, not even by a long shot. And in fact, the experiences that I had with dating were just as bad, and in one case worse, to the point where I'm now opted out of dating altogether because I don't feel that it is good for my mental health. And I'm going to be 47 in about a week, and I think, getting close to the end of the perimenopause phase, and there's a lot of intense emotions that I feel about this. In some ways, I'm okay with it. I have taken care of children my whole life, and there's a part of me that's like, great, now it's my turn. But there's another part of me that is immensely sad. I even knew what I was going to name my child. Like, I've thought about her for decades, and it really pains me to know that I will never know her.
Nothing lasts forever. If you are a top car company, you are not going to be at the top forever. If you are the world best in football, you cannot beat time. The richest man in the world was once Bill Gates. He's not that anymore. Do you see where I'm going with this? Reality comes for us all. Many women can afford not to live in reality, but only for a short period of time. The brick wall of reality is one that shocks women when they meet it. When they reach a certain age, everything that has been holding them up in Final Fantasy ends. Then everything they have been thinking starts looking like a lie. And many of them can't really handle it. streets. Now let's talk about many of them. Let's say a fine 16 to 17-year-old girl. Every morning she wakes up to like 5 to 10 different good morning messages, because guys, they F up, even married men did there. The good morning messages are minus the messages that she left unread because maybe she slept up or she had to sleep. Then there are messages from guys that she found unworthy to answer or continue chatting with them. She'll read the messages but leave them hanging. Plus there's many friend requests, some random guys that might get their numbers and call them, and the ones that walk up to them and try to talk to them. Now because of all of this, she doesn't even develop the skills to chat. She only answers questions. How are you? Fine. Many of them don't even ask, are you? Now imagine a girl living that life from 16 years to 31 years. She's been in the zone for like 15 years. Now many of these ladies feel that their attention is money. Some of them, if it looks like you can't give them money, they'll stop talking or chatting with you. That's why if you are talking with some girls and you ask them what are they bringing, they will say, my gist. Now isn't my gist important? Some believe that their gist is equal to money. A few phone calls, many men want to take them out to eat wherever they want to eat and buy them whatever they ask. Now that 15 years of her being in the zone, some of the guys that were around her because they want to knock, some of them have knocked and gone. Some left because no show. The ones that she's using to just get whatever she wants, many of them have either gotten smart or gotten tired of that, so they have moved on. The beauty she once has isn't as what it used to be, and they are younger, hotter and less smarter ones on the block now.
I'm just having a really hard day and trying to get ready.
That women tend to be happier when they are single.
I could have married a lot of the people that I've dated.
Okay, I turned 40 this year, and I've never been in love. I've never been in a relationship.
If you hear something or an update about your ex, and it just kills you.
Women tend to be happier when they are single.
Struggling financially, being alone, having no one there to talk to as you age, you know, no kids.
And I always thought I would have kids. I thought I would be married by now. And now the closer I get to it, and I'm scared. I don't know.
I didn't think it would be an issue. I'm 32 years old.
I'm 53. I would like to think that I'm still young, right?
The fact that you're 40 and single, still with no children, and now you find out that she's 8 weeks pregnant, and you so want to feel happy for her, but inside you feel so sad.
Happier when they are single.
I'm in a stage of life where I'm watching all my friends get married and have babies, and
you know that at 40 you are running out of time, and soon you won't have a choice at all.
I also feel like I'm getting older, and it's like I have to put some effort into dating or I'm just gonna be alone forever. But now I'm just honestly getting to the point where I'm just gonna be the single aunt.
But like it's really hard when like I don't really have anyone to go to like on a Friday night.
I am 30 years old and I have been single for over 12 years, so never had a real adult relationship.
Maybe I should just give up. But I don't know. Then I feel like if I give up, then it's like, then I'm totally throwing the towel in, and like, that sounds and feels sad.
Women over 35 have hit the wall. This is true and untrue at the same time, and let me explain why I say this, okay? For my professional expertise, I have worked with hundreds of women, and I have worked with a lot of women over the age of 35. Now, there's a group of those women who have absolutely no issues with dating. No issues with encountering men who want to be with them, who want to commit to them, who want to be serious about them. Then you have another group of women who have a very difficult time with those exact same things. Now, I want y'all to remember that. The thing that young women have on their side is youth. So women in their early 20s, mid 20s, you know what I'm saying? Even like this 20s period, but especially like the early and mid. They are young, they're supple, right? They're impressionable, right? They don't have certain baggage that older women have. And because of their youth, and especially because they're attractive, they don't have to be so smart, right? They don't have to have, you know, certain levels of integrity. They don't have to have a high standard of character because they have youth on their side. And all of us as women have gone through this process of having youth on our side. So if you were to put a woman who is 25 in the same room as a woman who is 35, and these women have a lot of the same things, so maybe the same height, same weight, same physical appearance, you know, so on and so forth. And both of those women have bad character, bad personality. Both of those women are not easy to be with. If a man had to choose, like, hey, I have to choose a woman, he's likely going to choose the younger one. However, let's go back to what I was talking about initially, where I said there are two categories of women over 35. One that has absolutely no issues with men. Men will still marry them. Men still want to be with them. And the ones who a man would not spit on them if they were on fire. The reason for that is they have bad character. They have a bad personality. They don't have the wisdom. They don't have the intellect. They don't have the things that they should have at their age. They make life hard, not just for themselves, but the people around them. Then we want to add the fact that they are out of their prime. They're out of the typical baby making ages. So yes, women in that category have hit the wall. But the women in the category who know themselves, who take care of themselves, who don't have bad character, who's a pleasure to be around, who don't take nobody's shit, but also is respectful, those women over 35 will never have a problem. Men will still gravitate towards them because a man over 35, if he's a high caliber man, he typically doesn't want a younger woman because she does not have the wisdom, she does not have the life experience or the conversation that would even excite him, that is even something he'd be interested in. So ladies, if you're over 35 and you don't want to hit the wall, be a better person. Stay safe.
So there you have it. Women denying the wall exists. If you've watched this long, I appreciate it. And please hit us with a like and subscribe. And also hit the bell notification so that you don't miss another video of ours. Take care.